Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the amazing Hayden Baker. Hayden, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. But before we talk about why you're here, Hayden, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. You started your YouTube channel, Hayden Cinema. You wanted to talk about all movies, including horror. Um, but even before that, you were born in Texas, moved to Mississippi, and then Arkansas at 8 years old. So, then moving around a lot at a young age. Your dad loved movies, especially horror, and would use them as an escape for you as well. So, what gave you the drive and the desire to actually get started with Hayden Cinema?
Um, you've talked and I've told you this. I've watched you for a while. I was really fascinated with how focused y'all were with horror, and then of course I started watching Cody Leach. I think I was like 16 years old. Like it was around COVID. I was sitting in my room bored and found an Evil Dead review, and it was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what is this?" And then I found, Stuckman, Jeremy Johns.
Hmm.
And this past year, I got really bored. I moved into this apartment. Used to going outside and working, and now I'm just kind of stuck in my apartment when I get off work. So I was like, I really need something to do. I draw a little bit. Those are my drawings. But I've always been more gravitated towards horror. And so I think my first review was Final Destination. No, it was Hard Eyes and then Final Destination. So my channel has
Oh
always
yeah.
kind of been, since I've started, mainly horror. That's kind of where I focus on. That's what I grew up with, talking all that stuff and watching that stuff with my dad. So yeah, this was something that I was wanting to start with fun, and now I'm actually kind of taking it pretty serious.
And that's awesome, man. Like I said, Cody Leach, it's a great person to follow, man.
I I almost wore my hat. I have one too, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, he's the man. He's truly one of the best. And I love your logo. Like obviously, people that know me know. Obviously, I'm a huge horror head, but my favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future, and you obviously got that Back to the Future influence on there. And I feel like that's really, especially for someone like me, like it grabs me. How does Back to the Future rank for you? Would that be in your logo? Is that one in your top 10 maybe, or?
Funny enough, it's actually not in my top 10. My top 10 is slam packed full of either buddy cop movies or horror films. Uh,
Yeah.
but it'd be in my top, I'd say 20 or so, only because I haven't watched it in a long time.
Hmm.
The reason it's Back to the Future is because I was going through a bunch of fonts, and originally when I changed my font, it was going to be the Scream font. But I was
Sure.
maybe that's too niche, and I'm not ready to just kind of give up on everything yet. So
Sure.
Back to the Future's a cool one. No one has that one yet. Like Sean Chandler's Star Wars based, Cody Leach's
Yeah.
Evil Dead based. So I was like, well, let me try to grab a movie. That one stuck out, and I was like, that might be a cool one.
Yeah. And man, go rewatch it because I'm telling you, the first Back to the Future, I think it's my favorite
Yeah.
film of all time, man. You can never go wrong with the first Back to the Future. And if I could go back in time, as weird as it sounds, I don't think we would have called the channel Sledgehammer Horror because there are other films that we would like to cover, but we kind of wrote ourselves into a corner there, and
That's what I'm scared of.
yeah. So like I said, keep it Hayden Cinema. Don't go just horror, man, because then you're gonna have like comedies that come out that you're really gonna want to talk about. Like I really, really wanted to cover the new Naked Gun film. Like I really wanted to cover it because I thought it was so funny and I thought it was so brilliant. But I'm not knowledgeable enough in that genre to be able, I feel, to go out and cover those the way that I do horror. Um, but your knowledge is, you're a big movie fan. Like I grew up strictly as a horror fan. I grew up obviously I love cinema, but nothing ever touched me like horror did. So I'm glad that you're not writing yourself into a corner with your name or with your content. So um we're talking about your channel, we're talking about social media and things like that. You guys don't have to go far to subscribe and follow because all of Hayden's links are right down in the description. So please make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following him on social media so you can stay up to date on all the amazing things that he has coming up for us. But in order for you to do any type of horror reviews, and like you said, Hard Eyes, Final Destination, horror had to start for you somewhere, Hayden. So now I would like to go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Hayden, your first horror movie was.
House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie.
what a start to your horror life,
I
man.
know, right?
Like your ass went right into the deep end, bro. Like you
Yes.
did not tiptoe in the shallow end. You head first dived right into the deep end, man. So, do you remember about how old you were when you had seen this for the first time?
Okay, so this is actually kind of funny. I'm trying not to trail off too much, but when I was thinking back to what my first horror movie was, there was a couple that came to my mind, like either Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, House of a Thousand Corpses, or there was another one. Tales from the Crypt. My dad had a Tales from the Crypt disc, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know which one was which, and so I was thinking this movie, and then I texted my dad and was like, hey, to my memory, it's this one, but what was the first one you showed me? And he said it was House of a Thousand Corpses. So he showed me this movie when I was probably a year or two old, and it wasn't just showing it to me, he was just watching it, and I was
Right.
there. And that's kind of how I got introduced to a lot of horror movies was wasn't necessarily him showing me, it was just I just happened to be there. I happened to sneak behind the couch or, jump in his lap, pretend to be asleep, and I was actually watching the movie the whole time. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I was actually right. This was more of a guessing game for me, and I turned out to be right. It was House of a Thousand Corpses.
And it's funny because two out of the three are Rob Zombie flicks, so
Yes.
staying right in that type of genre. And we know, you watched it with your dad for the first time, which I think is so rad because that's something that, I do with my kids. I have never forced horror on them. I've never, asked them to watch horror movies. But whenever they feel the itch, they know they can come to mom and dad, and then if that's what they want, that's what we'll do. And that is a special time for me. Like every year we do a watch along of Trick or Treat on the channel with our daughters, and they get their Sam suckers, and it's a special time for me. Even though I'm not a fan of that movie, which I know is blasphemous in this community, um, I love it because of the time I get with my kids. Because my daughters both love it, my wife loves it, so we get that time together. Um, but this isn't about me, man. This is about you, Hayden. So, we know you're a very young man watching this with your dad for the first time. Do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most?
So when I was looking back, normally whenever I think about this movie, the first thing that comes to my head is like the 3 minute skit that I told you about on the DVD
Yeah.
where it's Sid Haig and he's doing this whole thing. I could literally repeat it. But other than that, the actual scene was I remember and I went back and forth on this when I wrote it down, but I'm pretty sure it's the Run Rabbit. And I think it might even be the line Run Rabbit and her running through the fields. And then that one was probably the scariest scene in horror for me growing up, like until I was old enough to not be scared anymore. But
Yeah.
that one really stuck out to me. But I think still to this day, one of the most tense scenes, which is still effective to me in any horror, is when the character Otis, played by Bill Moseley, has Walton Goggins on his knees, and there's this crazy crane shot that just pans all the way out into the sky, and you're just seeing Otis holding this gun on Walton Goggins' knees, and it's like damn near a minute, maybe even a minute and a half, long as hell. And then
Yeah.
the gun goes off. And that's one of the most effective scenes I think I've ever seen. Now, again, I'm not going to defend this movie during this at all, but there are some really good things that come out of it. It is a pretty nice directorial debut from Rob Zombie. It being the thing that introduced me to horror, I will always have love and appreciation for this
Sure.
movie, but I'm not going to defend it either. There's a lot of crazy stuff that I just can't let go
This movie is definitely batshit insane.
all the way.
Um, and like I said, I think that for one, if that's me, and I know, hindsight 2020, I'm never in that position. If he's got me at gunpoint and I have my radio and my gun and he's telling me to throw it down, dude, we're going down shooting. I'm just shooting you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I'm
yeah,
not gonna get down on my knees because I just watched you kill two other people. What the hell am I? You know what I mean?
exactly.
So, but you're right, and I think it's that tense, especially for him to be like, you never know when I'm gonna pull this trigger. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna let you sit here and wallow and wait, you know, and he's just, oh God, you're right. And like you're watching it and you're like, just fucking do it if you're gonna do it, man. Stop making the guy suffer.
Exactly. And I was like, I was actually listening to this podcast. I want to shout them out but I cannot remember their name. But they've interviewed Danielle Harris from Halloween and uh, Bill Mosley, Kane Harder or Hodder, whatever his name is, I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did an interview with Bill Mosley, and he said that that was the one shot that Rob Zombie fought like hell. The company was fine with leaving Fish Boy and all that other shit in the movie, but they wanted to take that scene out because they said it was too long, it didn't make sense. And to me, again, that's like probably the most effective scene next to Run Rabbit.
Yeah, dude. Like Fish Boy's a pretty good scene too. I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie. And obviously everything with Sid Haig. God rest his soul. He was amazing. And yeah, I also have had the pleasure of meeting Bill Mosley. I can't recommend it enough, Hayden. If you can get out to a convention that Bill's at, he is a sweetheart, man. Like he is kind. He is so cool to talk to. If you can get to a convention that he's at, do it. He is just a god. Like he's seriously he's a giant and he's amazing. So, we know which scenes affected you the most, Hayden, from House of a Thousand Corpses, but what would you say your favorite scene from the film is?
Oh, wow. This is one of those movies that you can just kind of if again, like I said,
Throw a
not
dart at the
I'm not
board?
yeah, just not gonna defend it, but you can honestly, if you turn the volume on mute and you throw it on, it's a really pretty movie.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but besides all the visuals that I've went on about, if you're gonna include everything, I want to say probably when the group goes into the gas station and then uh Captain Spaulding leads them into the uh ride and they're going through like Dr. Satan and stuff.
Yep.
That or whenever I mean it's all tied for me. It's like either the opening, which is like that, or the closing whenever you think that your character and your final girl gets away scot-free and then it's just a lie. Sid
Yeah.
taking her in the car. Probably the ending, but also I don't know, those two right there, they're Sophie's choice.
Dr. Satan!
Yeah. Yeah.
The fucking Chris Hardwick, man.
Yes.
Um, but this is a movie that really did open some eyes when it came out. You know, a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, this is brutal. It's graphic. It's terrifying." Um, Now, whenever I talk to someone about their first horror movie, I always like to ask, "Would you like to see your first horror movie remade today?" Is this a movie you would like to see them take a swing at today, or is this one you think they should kind of just leave alone?
Man, I don't know. I think it's one of those that like you could remake it, and whether the remake would be bad or good, it's not offensive to nobody.
Sure.
I don't think it would offend nobody, whether,
Right.
no matter how bad or great it is. But do I think it needs remake? No. Would I want a remake? I mean, I guess since it's not going to be offensive for shits and giggles, yeah. I mean, I'd like
Yeah.
to see like it'd be cool if we had a more grounded version with like if you put Fade behind it and made
Hmm.
or Lee Wanell like seeing a really different version from going from like Rob Zombie's gnarly to graphic language to maybe something more supernatural.
Sure.
A
I
very
can see that too.
I'd like to actually see more instead of a remake if you was to do a prequel and it not be made by Rob Zombie and it'd be the Dr. Satan movie.
That would be sick.
That's what I want. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question or not,
No,
but
that's perfect. Yeah, as horror fans, Hayden, we also do love the kills. You know, and this movie is no shortage of them. Which kill would you say was the one besides obviously the crane shot was the one that stuck with you the most? Hmm.
um favorite kill. Honestly, it might be the off-screen kill right before that, and it's like you don't see it, but it's when all the girls are hanging in the barn. I think that sets the tone. Now, Fish Boy, it probably Fish Boy as of a favorite, just because how iconic, how cool that is. It sets the tone of how gruesome they can get. But I
Hmm.
think as far as motivations, they like the Firefly family are very motiveless. They're kind of like the Strangers or Michael
Yeah.
Myers. They don't have any motives. It's like we do it because we can. You let us.
Hmm.
And I think that the Fish Boy kind of sets that how gruesome they can get, and then the barn sets the tone of, we're doing it because you're here.
Yeah. Because you're the one that showed up.
Right.
So, whenever we talk about stuff like this as well, we always say like, if your first horror movie is part of a franchise, which is your favorite in the franchise? Well, obviously this isn't a franchise in a way, but also the Firefly trilogy. But I'm gonna go with all of Rob Zombie's work here. If you had to pick
Okay.
your favorite Rob Zombie flick, which one would be your favorite?
Oh God. I mean, that's like choosing between crap and vomit. A
I'm not a huge fan either,
couple
man.
sweet corn kernels in there that might be okay. Like I said, I mean, okay. I think that there are, if you cut out the first act of Halloween 1, that would be his
Yeah.
best. That or like Lords of Salem, but I do not like Lords of Salem because that's the movie that makes me feel like I've walked through hell almost.
Yeah.
That's his best directed anyway. But as far as a favorite nostalgia, one that I probably rewatch the most, it would be this one, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I think Devil's Rejects gives it a run for its money too. You know, pick the day, one of these two.
Right. That works. So we've talked about House of Thousand Corpses, obviously being your first horror movie and what that means to you. But here, real quick, my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Hayden? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Um, by default, I would say probably The Lost Boys.
Hell yeah, man.
And now my favorite movie of all time, people call me crazy for it. I don't give a shit. I do consider I Am Legend a horror movie,
Hmm.
and that is probably my favorite movie of all time. I really like that type of atmosphere, like I Am Legend, The Last of Us, that
Yeah.
apocalypse, but also the lone wolf story. And I fully admit it's not a great movie by any means, but there's just something to me personally, my ties to it, my story with it. Either The Lost Boys or I'm Legend, like those two right there. And
Okay.
probably The Lost Boys because I have way more nostalgia with that one.
Yeah. You're eating maggots, David.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, but then like I said, to me, horror is what you make it. Because like the scariest movies to me, nobody would consider horror movies. Like The Day After Tomorrow, 2012. Like those movies to me are way fucking scarier than any horror movie I've seen. Like The End of the World,
Yep.
Armageddon, like those type of movies scare the shit out of me, man. Um, those do more
Situational
to me.
horror.
Yes, dude. So I've always said horror is what you make it. Like, I think my favorite jump scare of all time isn't even in a horror movie. It's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure with the large Marge scene. Like, as a kid, that scared the shit out of me, dude. Like I cried the first time I saw that scene because it came out of nowhere. And I was such a Pee-wee fan, dude. So to me, horror is what you make it, and what we can do with horror, I think, is so special. And I've had an amazing time, Hayden,
See,
talking to you about. No, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. See, you saying that reminds me, I think the movie that probably scared me the most. Now, it's not the scariest movie. It's not, I wouldn't even consider it a scary movie, anything like that. But the one that creeped me out too much to watch until I got a little older was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, the 1991.
That's
Just,
awesome.
it is such a dark tone, and I loved that movie up until Raph, he gets kidnapped. That
Dude,
scared the living hell out of me when I was little.
and they end up getting him back and they take him to the house and like it's so somber,
And they're
man.
all like
Like,
sitting in the closet and depressed. That just it bothered the hell out of me. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to side trail, but yeah.
no, dude, like I've said that my whole life. Like, even as a kid, like the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was more of an adult movie than it was a kids movie. And then you had the second one come out and you were like, okay, yeah, this is the kids movie.
Like that
You
the
know,
second one's like a damn comic book, whereas as the first one could have been written by Frank Miller for all I knew.
Right. Yeah. And I think that even to this day, like that first one is still more aimed at adults than it is at kids. And yeah, I agree. Like that was me with Tim Burton's Batman. That's another movie that creeped me out as a kid, man.
Returns, the one with the penguin. That one
Yep.
scared that and Beetlejuice too. Like both of those scared me a lot too when I was little.
hmm Ashley, my wife, Batman Returns, her scariest scene from a non-horror movie is when the penguins are taking the penguin down into the
Yep.
water. That
Yep.
scared the shit out of her as a kid, man.
Me too.
Um, so yeah, like I said, Hayden, I've had a lot of fun talking about House of a Thousand Corpses. I was talking about the Lost Boys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I could talk about this shit all day, man. But
Me too.
before I let you go, we always bounce back to the same question. We're gonna go back to House of a Thousand Corpses, and what we're gonna do is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We're not being critics. What we're doing, Hayden, is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So, zero skulls being not effective, five being extremely effective. You can't use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Hayden, what would your ranking of House of a Thousand Corpses be?
Not critically, based on nostalgia, how it affected me. I'd say four skulls. Critically,
Yeah.
like half a skull, but yeah.
See, and yeah, I've never been a big fan. Like I said, I was never a big fan of Rob Zombie's music. I was never a big fan of his movies. I respect the hell out of the guy. Always have, always will. But his stuff is just not for me. So
Not
I
for
know I
me
said it.
either.
Yeah, I know I said it at the beginning, guys, but we're at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, I have all of Hayden's links down in the description. So please, like I said, make sure you're following on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel so you can become a part of his community as well. Hayden, please don't go anywhere. I got a couple more questions for you.
All
Um,
right.
everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.